But we see these factions is not playing around at all. They are not playing around. A lot of houses are being burned. Lots of houses are being burned. All of our churches have been vandalized. Some have been, burned as well. I barely escaped the mob. Well, I barely escaped. The mob was already in the house. I climbed the fence. I climbed the fence over to the neighbor house. Just came. I just came with my laptop bag to this camp. I don't even have anything. He said, you know what I'm saying? There were about five 5,500 people staying in the camp, and that there were about 6 or 7 camps involved in total. You know what I'm saying? There have been so many deaths, he added. A mother and her son were on their way to the camp. On their way, a mob encountered them and beat the son to death. The mother was trying to protect the son. She was also killed as well. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't make any kind of sense in any shape or form. But we see CNN reach out to the state government of Manipur and Indian Army for comments on Sunday. There was no immediate response from the state government. The Army said it had refused a total of 23,000 civilians and moved them to operating base military garrisons. It added that there was a ray of hope and a law in a law, lure or whatever, luau in the fighting due to the rescue work carried out by the 120 to 125th Army, you know what I'm saying, Assam and Assam Rifles, you know what I'm saying, which had been working tirelessly for the past 96 hours to rescue civilians from there. Well, we need to get, this seems to be going out of hand, and it needs to come to some kind of understanding to end the fighting. You know what I'm saying? We see Richard Dreyfuss on another channel talking about he'll never have a chance to play a black man because of Oscars new diversity requirement. Yeah, you can stay there running with them garbage. And then we see the creep Joe Biden family, son Hunter Biden, Justice Department, way seeking charges. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess creep Biden saying my son has done nothing wrong. Yeah. If you believe that piece of crap, then we surely should believe in their fake ass Luciferian Freemason Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? My face. But we see police arrest 52, including Republicans during a King Charles coronation. Oh, you're going to have plenty of that, you know what I'm saying? But I hope his coronation leads to the justification of the slavery in which his family had put on black people and people all across the world, and even people in England who wear scars from their garbage as well. Long live his little coronation, but pay back what you owe. You know what I'm saying? You can coronate till your head turn bald, but I'm not respecting it until you justify, you know what I'm saying, and venerate all those people's lives that you fucked up in more ways than one. Sorry to say it that way, King Charles, but that's just the way it has to be. I cannot cut no short on it whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? We see Biden's Ignis Hunter Biden defense blast by Harvard professor. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, this is covered in by Fatma Khalid, you know what I'm saying? Khalid on the 5th, on May 7, 23, at 2:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Coming in by Newsweek. You know what I'm saying? Their political drive. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing as usual. But we see a Harvard Law professor, Jack Goldsmith, thinks Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying, acting president, should stop commenting about ongoing probes in a wake of the tax investigation against his son Hunter Biden, saying that it makes the Department of Justice, the DOJ job, much harder. You know what I'm saying? Creep Joe Biden on Friday defended his son ahead of a potential decision by the federal prosecutor to issue tax violation charges against Hunter Creepy Little Biden after a 4-year criminal investigation. The so-called acting president told the president, you know what I'm saying, the acting president told Stephanie, you know what I'm saying, I guess Rual or whatever, host of the 11th hour on NBC. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, we see this, you know what I'm saying, coming in, that his son has done nothing wrong and that he has faith in him. Yeah, we do too. We have faith in him, you, Kamala, all of y'all, all the demons, Obama, Bush, all of y'all, going all the way to Nixon to get the hell out. And stay the hell out too. But we see Hunter Creep Biden might face charges for failing to file tax related to the business expenses, but talking about Trump, hunting after Trump like a dog. You know what I'm saying? According to NBC News, the Creep son, denies any wrongdoing in the tax cases, and you know what I'm saying, said that he handled his matters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we believe that. If you believe that piece of crap, you believe just about anything. We see U.S. government may freeze American bank withdrawals as currency panic and capital flight mounts. You know what I'm saying? Mark Rule, Hugh Henry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Well, we know what that's all about because he's trying to bring in that new world order government. We see North Case Kathy Hoxha, New York Demon Democrats lost the crime debate. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to redo. They can't redo something that you put into plan that you have made sure that you used during 2020 and probably even before in order to demonize Trump. You know what I'm saying? Using what you were saying you're doing right for criminals and other people and this and that to get everybody on your side. You know what I'm saying? And release many of the undocumented workers and all this shit to have them believing that you're doing something for them. But by doing that, you started talking about defund the police, the protection that the people have right now. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's good or bad, you talked about defunding the police. You talked about many other things, that didn't seem right in more ways than one. But all this was about was to try to put into place these chaotic laws in which would make it seem like, it's all good and sweet and fine and dandy. That's what that was about. It wasn't about anything else. You were just interested in only that. So I don't know where they get off saying what they're saying. But the whole thing was to bring in that chaotic mentality in which they wanted to bring in. See, what people didn't understand, this was mainly about bringing in chaos in order to keep the chaotic vibe running in their favor. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you have to, if you're doing a plan and you want to corrupt the government and the people at the same time, you would put out these many different actions, you know what I'm saying? And anybody could clearly see those actions led to exactly what we see now. But saying everything was Trump. But when we seen Soros, the killing weasel, Anthony Nutcase Fauci, the weasel, and all these different people, you come to realize that they were full of doodle. You know what I'm saying? They were full of doodle in more ways than one. Excuse me. They were full of doodle. You know? The whole thing was they was only interested in one thing. And that was causing mad chaos across the land, keeping the people at full disconfusion, you know what I'm saying, even bringing in, you know what I'm saying, damn near anarchy, you know what I'm saying, in order to either demonize Trump, demonize the Republican Party as radicals, and so forth, and get the heat off of the Democrat, which all that I just said applies to them. You know what I'm saying? And then many other things, especially Luciferianism. You know what I'm saying? Whether you believe it or not, a lot of people follow that piece of garbage. You know what I'm saying? Talk about some Baphomet and all this different bullshit. My thing is this here. You know, if Albert Pike got that from Africa, you know, he needs to give it back. I mean, not give it back. He needs to keep it and get it out of this country in more ways than one. But when you see them put those statues up in front of 6 state buildings in the South, you know, what does that tell you? In more ways than one. You know, what does that tell you? That doesn't say much for this country at all. And many people down south ask, why did they do that? Why did they put it in front of, you know, 6 state capitals in the South, and they're saying that this is not your new law, this is your new government, and all this new shit that they were talking. This ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Your beastly ass just enact a plan, but the people need to stand up against it. You know what I'm saying? This is why, in more ways than one, we see what went on with the pandemic, and the people being put into a position where they have no way out other than to say that they're going to do it. You know, in more ways than one. You know, we see one coming in by Joe DiPaolo or something like that, 13 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time of the immediate. You know, just brutal for Joe Biden, the president. George Stephanopoulos break down jaw-dropping new poll showing Stephanopoulos or whatever, you know, showing, you know, Trump is clobbering, you know, creepy Joe Biden. In more ways than one. He's clobbering him. He's coming 13 hours ago off the media. You know, there was not a bit of, you know, sugarcoating Sunday from ABC News anchor George DeStefano on, sorry to mess with your name, on a brand new poll from ABC and Washington Post. The poll is just brutal for the creepy, cheating president, creepy Biden. This Stefano said, indeed, a silver lining where just about, you know, it's just about impossible in more ways than one to find for the White House. You know, it's indeed a silver lining to even find it. But yeah, because look at what the garbage they did. The poll put Joe Biden approval rating at 36%, down 6 points from February, and an all-time low in that particular survey. The survey also showed Joe Biden getting, you know, taunched in a hypocritical 2024 matchup with the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, 45 to 38, which will probably will cheat when it comes down to the Electoral College. The Electoral College is definitely the one that caused a lot of this shit to happen, along with the rest of the shit that they planned out before they got there. You know, before they got there. But with this Stephanopoulos, you know what I'm saying, Paulos had problems processing the support for Trump. The poll found roughly 20% of those who believe Trump should face criminal charges in New York over Stormy Daniels, which is one of the stupidest things I'm still saying that I ever heard. You know, hush money payout would still support him in the 2024 election. Yes, I will, and I don't think he's supposed to face any charges of who he's slinging his dicky ricky and so forth and paid for too, because people do that all the time. The president of the United States is no different to any other human being as long as it's flesh and blood, just like the rest of y'all or us. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the graph may be, but he's still flesh and blood and have needs just like everybody else, especially when it comes to sex and all this and that. So if he wasn't even the president, he was running a campaign and used campaign funds in order to do so. Or that's what you're trying to say he did. In more ways than one, the funds still belong to him. You know, he has to do what he has to do on the campaign trail to keep himself right. You know what I'm saying? But as far as I can see, it's a bullshit set of garbage or shit. According to what they said, he went on to say, I got to admit I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. You know, Stephanopoulos said, you got 1 in 5 people who say, you know, why are you wrapping your head around that? 1 in 5 people say they believe that the president of the United States, you know, should face criminal charges, but they would still vote for him. Damn fucking right, because your charges is a piece of shit. And the people who think that he should go to jail or face criminal charges for the Stormy Daniels shit is just as stupid as the motherfuckers who bring in the charges in the first place. That garbage ass piece of shit. Nobody gonna hear that nonsense. You know, Long Island town named one of the top 50 best places to travel in the world. Oh well, go ahead. You know, we see black political opinion, Jordan Neely in life cut short by Daniel Penny. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Penny. Not racist. To me, it is. Whether he's playing a hero or not, something is not right with his approach, his game, and what he has done. And I don't want to hear any more other than to find out we know what truly happened. We want to see justice from Mr. Neely, because he didn't attack anyone, he didn't hurt anyone, he was just ranting and raving, he didn't have a gun, none of this transpired, but he loses his life by someone sneak choking him from the back, and especially a military person who have skills in order to know that you're going to just simply hold him there because you already had the upper hand, and just make sure you had to actually choke the man literally to death. This is the new thing. I guess that's the new lynching game that they play. But we need to come to some understanding that you can't be doing it. We don't need no midday subway cowboys. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that chaotic shit either, because that ain't safe. That's doing the same thing in what the demon Democrats did to New York and the subway system as a whole. Republicans passed a bill that could oust Georgia prosecutor, you know, taking on Trump. Yeah, you need to oust his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because he come in with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like all Trump charges is the worst in the world, but not nothing the creep Joe Biden family did. They get a slap on the wrist. So we're going back and forth between these two, but we got to deal with a lot of problems that come in our way, especially in time to come. You know, and people need to understand that you can't sit here with that all day. You know, even right here, we see a man slash a commuter neck with a box cutter in Manhattan subway station. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying we don't need people to step up. We need people to step up, but not to step up and murder everything moving. Just because, you know, assess the situation as a hero and know how to handle that situation, and then hold him or do what you have to do till the law gets involved. And it's definitely what needs to be. Even having one coming in here by the Saloon News talking about undue hate. You know what I'm saying? The corrosive rule of common false belief. You know what I'm saying? What false belief? What false belief? The only false belief is y'all crazy ass and what y'all doing to the American people's brains through the demon democratical stupid ass game. You know, in more ways than one. By Paula Rosenberg 14 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time. Last week, I interviewed media scholar Daniel Cursis, or whatever, about a paper he co-wrote with Shannon McGregor criticizing what I call the issue, you know, prioritization of the polarization of Christ has told me. Polarization has become a way to talk about politics without talking about politics at all, without actually getting at the underlying issues. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the polarizing talk obscure, you know, underlying issues from above. A new book by behavioral economist Daniel Stone under hate. You know, this set how objective false and overly negative belief about the other side characters trait simply obscures the excuse them from below our level of consciousness. This is, at first glance, Stone boast might seems to be just a sort of thing that Creasy and McGregor were criticizing, and some of the things he said would seems to justify that. But most significantly, he's not pretending to explain everything with an overarching narrative. What he is doing is providing a careful, qualified account of how a handful of universal cognitive basis plays a significant role in exacerbating perceived divisions along with fueling this this affection this affections in everyday non-political settings, even among friends and family, and of his credit. And to his credit, he recognized these basically tendencies in himself. That's not the way it goes, though. Nice analogy, but that's not the way it goes. What we see is the politics people playing on people's brain, such as what we saw with the pandemic. Only emergency has ended. You know what I'm saying? Only the emergency has ended, but it's not ended because you cannot end something that was played out to be played in. And once it's played out and played in, there's no way to get it out. So we're looking at how many years per loss, per the mathematics of what we are talking about in itself. We're talking about 800 billion and more. You know what I'm saying? They're probably at 7 billion right now and probably shot across 8 billion. But when we look at how many per year or every 2 or 3 years due to this situation, we're going to see just how well you trusted creepy, nasty ass handed Luciferian pedophilia. Bye. Let's just get that straight.